Hey, what's up, everybody? Gonna do artist profile today, man. This artist profile is featuring Robert Plant of Led Zeppelin, more specifically focusing on a little bit more of his solo works. It's going to include a short interview and then a couple of songs. So we're going to start with an interview, and this interview he's talking about a little bit of his solo stuff, I believe, and then some stuff about Led Zeppelin and some specific things about Jimmy Page. Then we've got the Tall Cool One live in '88, followed by Robert Plant Tie Down on the Highway live at Knebworth in 1990, and then finally live at Knebworth in 1990, and it's a collaboration with Jimmy Page, so it's decent, almost 15 minutes. So altogether, this is going to be a long reaction when you take all of these into account. Now, before I pop this off, I just want to give a shout out and a thanks very much to Evelyn. Thanks very much, Evelyn. I appreciate the recommendation, and you're definitely fed me some good information in regards to Led Zeppelin over the last year or two. So, but I do want to say to you, Evelyn, you've also included Like I've Never Been Born. Unfortunately, that link is no longer available. And Big Log. I've done a reaction to Big Log already when I featured Robert Plant in his birthday 2 years ago. I would have had to omit 2 anyway, because altogether this is way too long for a quad reaction, especially the Live at Knebworth feature, which is 15 minutes long. So I would have to keep it scalped down to no longer than an hour. This would be running into like 90 minutes. So just so you know what I had to do here. All right, so first, actually, Evelyn says, hi Wayne, I came across a short interview by MTV of Robert Plant from '85 that I had been looking for off and on for months, and then it just appeared in my feed. I wanted to share it with you because toward the end of it, he says something about Jimmy that I wanted you to hear, and says a lot about his feelings at that time about Jimmy and about the shadow of Zeppelin that he was trying too hard sometimes, I think, to shed. It's understandable that an artist wants to recreate their image and brand and stuff like that. I mean, look at David Bowie. But yeah, sometimes, you know, it's just Led Zeppelin is an image that you really can't put off to the side. It will always haunt you. They were just too huge. They're just too iconic and legendary. That is the standard, man. So, with that said, though, let us hit this up. And you know what we'll do? We'll do a back-to-back crunch. So we'll do all of them, one after the other, straight through, and then I'll focus on his bio info. Okay, let's do that. So, an artist spotlight featuring Robert Plant. Let's get it. Cheers, baby.
The line that emerges in little by little is I can breathe again. Is that a fair statement of your psychological condition now?
Yeah, I would say so. It's this feeling of emancipation, this final sort of relief of not having any kind of premonitions or paranoias about returning to a certain vocal style, as in Easily Led, one of the tracks on the album, and really thumping away again without any serious concern about it sounding like way back, you know, or like a million imitators. I just think that I feel very, not complacent, because that's absolutely the wrong word. I just feel very, there aren't any areas of my musical being now that I have any sort of problem with. And the whole thing is just steaming right ahead, you know.
It's nice to have that, though. To be able to be so versatile.
Who is your bride in the video?
Oh, she's not my bride. She's my alter ego's bride.
Well, whosever bride she was, I mean, I couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman. And they're all
Aha, that must be a Jimmy Page video.
Never seen this video.
From what I've read about you, both parents were extremely against your desire to become a singer. Where do you think you got the willpower to sort of persevere and do what you wanted to do?
Well, I think at the time that they were greatly misled by by media, strangely enough. Isn't it funny what the media can do? And I think they really thought that I was going to end up womanizing and taking drugs and living a hell-raising life, which now they're sure that I never have, you know. And I think they're really pleased about that, that their conception of what a vocalist is and does was wrong. Now that my daughter is of the age where she could quite easily be married, instead of going and watching the Guana Bats and the Prisoners and the psychobilly punk movement, I often think about her and would like to see her working in Woolworths. Or would I? Of course I wouldn't. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. A man's got to do what a man's got to do. And my mum and dad realized that by the time I was 36. And they let me go and live somewhere else, too.
Well, do you find yourself fully able to accept what your own children are interested in now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I like it. I mean, she's selecting material for the next Honey Drippers album as we speak. You know, I mean, her vision of music is great.
Right. I've never done a Honey Drippers.
The Honey Drippers will be appearing on tour in the United States and Canada, and there will be girls and they will be singing and they will be dressed accordingly, and the whole thing will be, the intention is to prove that there's a light side to everything rather than it all having to be a little too serious.
When is this tour?
June the 10th it starts.
And it's this is primarily a Honey Drippers tour as opposed to you?
No, it's a Robert Plant's touring, but the Honey Drippers will join him at one point in the show. Although it'll take me a few years to catch up with Phil Collins, the number of projects that actually take place that become part of the general appearance of Robert Plant will increase as time goes on.
Is catching up with Phil Collins your goal now?
No, is it hell? I could never catch him up. Good Lord. I don't know how he does it. But then again, you've heard that before.
He was on top.
What?
But I do know how he does it, because I had a glass to his bedroom wall once when he was on the tour with me. He doesn't do it for long, either.
Still with his little sexual punch.
But he'd be the first to say that.
You brought up Page a few times in a joking way. Have you seen him lately?
Well, that's why I brought him up, because I saw him only 48 hours ago playing in that group he's in. And in the Firm.
What do you think of that group he's in?
I think he's brilliant. I think Jimmy, I was obviously, when you go and see somebody who you love that much, and yet you steer clear of, you know, because you want to continue whatever you're doing, and the combination of the two beings would be, it would either be everybody would construe it as being back to the old days, and yeah, let's go and buy 5 million albums and make them bigger than everything else under the sun, which I don't like. Don't advocate that kind of success. But to go and see him was a very emotional moment for me, and I have never actually had the privilege, and I know the word privilege and what it means, of being able to sit and watch him perform, you know. I've heard him performing, and I thought that he was incredible. I thought he was brilliant. He had all the dynamics and all the drama and all the majesty and all the things, all the attributes that I only ever heard on record. And he was,
his delivery.
He was incredible. He was brilliant. I wept. I honestly wept. And I was so proud of him.
I think that about covers it, Robert. Why don't we take a look at... I think that... Jesus.
Well, that about covers it, Chuck. I think we ought to have a look at Pink and Black for its first time on MTV.
That was better than mine. Why don't we just use that?
Here's a new record out now. It's a new single. It's called Tall, Cool One.
Good interview. Even Robert Plant is a fan of Jimmy Page. That's cool. Having a good time.
I should be so lucky, 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 lucky. I should be so lucky in love.
See, there's just no way that you can escape the Led Zeppelin haunting element. He's bringing some of that into the song. Get the hell out of here, man. You were still planting some seeds. You were still saying that the door is not completely shut, and at one point in time, one day you knew that you were going to revisit the Led Zeppelin thing. That's what he's saying in this. He wants to be independent from Led Zeppelin, but at the same time, he knew. Oh, look at that.
What we have in mind is breakfast in bed for 400,000.
Tie down the Highway, Knebworth 1990. What a shot. Nice shots of the crowd intermittently. Remember, he can really play that thing. Again, this is from Nobody's Fault But Mine. Am I right? Yeah, I'm right. Yeah. And the crowd knew it too. So this Knebworth 1990, I imagine that it was a conglomerate of acts, and Robert was one of those in the building, I'm guessing. Or was it just everyone just came to see Robert? Let me know about that. That's an ocean of people, man. Very good. He's got his new wings, his independence, express himself individually. It's good for an artist to be able to do that. So this is with Jimmy Page, 1990, so it could be the same concert. So he's doing Zeppelin stuff as early as 1990. Jimmy started to go gray. It's cool. He made no attempt to dye his hair or anything like that. He's like, let it come. I'm gonna grow old gracefully. So correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, damn. I gotta shut up and listen to this song. I'll ask you later.
Stops up like a murmur, and then it goes like thunder till it bursts inside of you. Try hard and steady, now wait until you're ready. In a second now will do. Throw the door wide open, not a word is spoken. Anything you wanna do, you know, you know, you know. You know, you know, you know, you know, you know, you know.
Drummer's doing a great job, man.
And don't you feel the same way? And don't you feel the same way?
They're all doing it.
Oh, sure, anything you want to do. No time to hesitate. Ain't no time for hesitating. All you got to do is groove. You know you say you're feeling blue. Well, I just found a cure. Here's the thing that you got to do. You know, 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 you know. You say your body's aching. I know your body's aching. Too much coming by you. So I found a fooling. Yeah, just a found a fooling. Just like fooling after school. You ask for medication. Who cares for medication? When you throw away the cure. You know, you know. You know, you know, you know, you know, you know, you know. Hey, 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 woo! Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Why don't we go back to the country? Go back to the country. Oh, feel a change is good for you. When you keep convincing, oh, you keep convincing. The ones that creeping up on you. It's just an old friend. It's just an old friend. And what's that he's got in his pocket for you? You know, 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 you know.
he would probably say that the favorite part about being an artist is performing live. I'm guessing he's so damn good at it. I might be wrong. Maybe it's cool. Nice.
This is a song you may have heard before. To cut all the cornball, it's probably one of my favorites ever. Thank you in the same breath for being so supportive. I've heard it all day on the radio. Support is a great thing, and awareness is even greater. So enjoy the rest of the night, the afternoon. Let's pray the weather stays good. Blah, blah, blah. Here's a bit of this.
Look at that crowd, man. Right on. Okay, so questions. brother's got questions. Yo, first off, it's great for an artist with the creative itch like Robert Plant to be able to step away from the shadow and the umbrella of Led Zeppelin for a while, to do his own thing, to express himself the way he wants to, reinvent himself, do all of that stuff that he needs to do. But at the same time, I'm noticing here, now he's saying this in 85 in the interview that, you know, he's enjoying being his own person and whatnot. And by 88, the live version of Tall Cool One, he's starting to do a little bit of Led Zeppelin stuff. And Tie Down in Knebworth, again, so a little shade. So what that's saying to me is, yes, I'm enjoying my independent streak, but at the same time, I am not going to completely close the door. I think that if, his actions could speak, that's what I'm interpreting, which is cool, you know, because he's still open possibly to something down the road with Jimmy Page and Led Zeppelin. So this is Led Zeppelin, or Jimmy Page and Plant live in 1990 at Knebworth. So my question to you guys was it just to see Page and Plant together? That's why it was such a massive crowd? Or were they just a part of a bill of a whole ensemble of acts? That is what I want to know, because that's an ocean of people, man, just coming to see a solo Robert Plant, or a Robert Plant with a Jimmy Page collaboration of just a handful of songs. That's still a really, really large crowd. So, I imagine I would probably go, because it's probably your first taste of a possible Led Zeppelin reunion. So it must have been a really big deal. But I know that they got together for Live Aid in, was it 85? And a lot of you are telling me do not ever check out Live Aid, because it really sucks and that you'll be greatly disappointed. I've been listening to you, trust me. I'm not gonna go there unless you really want me to. So I guess that's my question. But watching this, again, it's really cool that he's able to go off and do his own thing, express himself the way he feels he needs to as a creative artist. And there's so many artists that, they just stick with the main format of the great success they've had with a big band that they were in, and they don't go from that. Or maybe they don't have a creative itch to go in a different direction. Or maybe they feel that their best years are behind them and they're going to pull the pin, kind of like what the Yardbirds did. They pulled the pin on Jimmy Page and they're like, our great success of just a couple of years ago, our best years are behind us, so we're just going in different directions and we're going to pull the pin on it. You know what I mean? So there's different mindsets coming from different artists. But where it comes to Robert Plant, I'm glad that he had the ability to separate himself from Led Zeppelin, go off on his own, do his own thing, but at the same time, by his actions, he's acknowledging that, yes, Led Zeppelin was huge, it was colossal, and it was a major, major cornerstone of my life, and I'm not at that point where I'm willing to completely shut the door, right? So that's what he's saying. Because I do remember at some point he was saying no Zeppelin songs whatsoever. And then I'm kind of hearing different things, right? So he changed his mind over a period of time. And I was going to say that perhaps maybe the Coverdale-Page collaboration might have put some fire under his ass. But that album didn't come out until 93. And they were performing together on stage in 1990. So... But at that point, maybe he still said to Jimmy Page, no, I still don't want to do anything Led Zeppelin-wise in the form of getting together with John Paul Jones, because it would definitely be a Led Zeppelin thing. And also, of course, at this point, John's son, Jason, was very, very willing, capable, and probably waiting in the wings. So all of this was hanging on Robert Plant, right? He must have had a rush of power wielding this big axe, or he could wield this big axe, but he decided not to for a while. All right. Let's do this, man. Really, really cool seeing them in 1990 as they were starting to get a little older. Jimmy's gray was creeping in. He's like, yeah, let it come, man. I'm gonna grow old gracefully. But they still had their swag. Excellent. Let's read a little bit about the man from his humble beginnings and then follow his musical career. I won't read too much. There's just no way. You should see his bio. When you have a chance, go to his wiki bio and imagine how long it would take to read that entire bio with all the information. So I'm going to bounce around. Robert Plant. Robert Anthony Plant, CBE, born 20th of August 1948, is an English singer and songwriter, best known as lead singer and lyricist of English rock band Led Zeppelin for all of its existence from 68 up until 1980. Plant enjoyed great success with Led Zeppelin. From the late 60s to the end of the 70s, he developed a compelling image as a charismatic rock and roll frontman, similar to those of contemporaries such as Mick Jagger of the Stones, Roger Daltrey of The Who, Jim Morrison of the Doors, and Freddie Mercury of Queen. Who's your favorite frontman? All of these are great contemporaries. With his mane of long blonde curly hair and powerful bare-chested appearance, Plant helped to create the god of rock and roll, or rock god archetype image. Although Led Zeppelin dissolved in 1980, Plant occasionally collaborated with Jimmy Page on various projects in years later, including forming a short-lived supergroup with Page and Beck in 1984 called the Honey Drippers. What? Really? Is that right? Plant occasionally collaborated with Jimmy Page in various projects in later years, including forming a short-lived supergroup with Page and Jeff Beck in 1984 called the Honey Drippers. Is this accurate? Is this correct? I don't know if that's correct. I don't ever recall Jimmy Page being a part of the Honey Drippers or Jeff Beck. In a picture that I've seen of the Honey Drippers, isn't it the lead singer and the lead guitarist from the Stray Cats? I'm off. I gotta do a little research. They released an album called The Honey Drippers Volume 1, and the band had a number 3 hit with a remake of Philip's tune, Sea of Love, plus a follow-up hit with a cover of Roy Brown's Rocking at Midnight. A powerful and wide vocal range, particularly evident in his high-registered vocals, has given Plant a successful singing career spanning more than 50 years. In 2008, Rolling Stone editors ranked him number 15 on their list of the 100 best singers of all time. Wow, of all time. In 2011, Rolling Stone readers ranked Plant the greatest of all lead singers. In 2006, Hit Parader magazine named Plant the greatest metal vocalist of all time. In 2009, Plant was voted the greatest voice in rock in a poll conducted by Planet Rock. Great honors. Well deserved, I would not dispute those. So early career and success. After Led Zeppelin disbanded in December of 1980, following the death of drummer John Bonham, Plant briefly considered abandoning music to pursue a career as a teacher in the Rudolf Steiner education system, going so far as to be accepted for teacher training. He nevertheless embarked on a successful solo career, helped by encouragement from Genesis drummer Phil Collins, who would go on to play with him. Plant's solo career began with the album Pictures at 11 in 82, followed by 83's The Principle of Moments. Popular tracks from this period includes Big Log, In the Mood, Little by Little, Little by Little, Far Post, which appeared on the soundtrack of the 1985 movie White Nights, starring Gregory Hines and Mikhail Baryshnikov, and popularized by airplay on album-oriented rock stations. Oh, they keep going down the list here. Okay, Tall Cool Ones, I Believe, All of My Love. This track, I believe, from 1993's Fate of Nations, like Led Zeppelin's All of My Love, was written for and dedicated to his late son, Carrick. Whilst Plant avoided playing Led Zeppelin songs through much of this period, although he would occasionally improvise his unique Zeppelin screams into a set, his tours in '83 with Phil Collins on drums and in '85 were very successful, often performing to sold-out arena-sized venues. So I'm guessing that Knebworth was just about seeing Robert Plant and Jimmy Page. Holy shit. That's a huge crowd. In '86, Plant performed at the Birmingham Heartbeat charity concert. During the late '80s and early '90s, Plant co-wrote 3 solo albums with keyboardist-songwriter Phil Johnston. These were Now and Zen in '85, Manic Nirvana in 1990, and the '93 Fate of Nations, which features Moya Brennan of Clannad and former Cutting Crew guitarist Kevin Scott McMichael. Songs from this third album, plus a smattering of Led Zeppelin classics, made up the setlist for Plant's acclaimed Sunset performance on the main stage at Glastonbury Festival in '93. Yeah, okay, so he was infusing a lot of Led Zeppelin stuff by this time. It was Johnstone who talked Plant into playing Led Zeppelin songs in his live shows, something Plant had always previously resisted, not wanting to be forever known as the former Led Zeppelin vocalist. Well, that's too bad, because that's what you are. Accept it. Although Led Zeppelin split in 1980, Plant occasionally collaborated with Jimmy Page on various projects through this period, including forming a short-lived all-star group with Page and Jeff Beck. Yeah, here it is again, the Honey Drippers. I gotta look this up. I don't think that Jeff Beck and Page were in the Honey Drippers, man. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and it's kind of going back into a little bit more detail from what the intro cap is saying. Alright, so let's scroll down through that because I'd already read a lot of it in the intro. Plant's live collaborations with other well-known musicians continued when he took to the stage with Queen at Wembley Stadium for 1992's the Freddie Mercury tribute concert for AIDS awareness, where he sang Queen's Innuendo and Crazy Little Thing Called Love, and Led Zeppelin's Kashmir and Thank You, other famous Midlands musicians. Legacy. Plant has influenced the style of many of his contemporaries, including Geddy Lee, Ann Wilson, Sammy Hagar, and later rock vocalists such as Jeff Buckley and Jack White, who imitated his performing style. Freddie Mercury of Queen and Axl Rose of Guns N' Roses were also influenced by Plant. Encyclopedia Britannica notes that exaggerating the vocal style and expressive palette of blues singers such as Howlin' Wolf and Muddy Waters, Plant created the sound that has defined much hard rock and heavy metal singing, a high range and abundance of distortion, loud volume, and emotional excess. Yes, that's very well said there. Plant received the Knebworth Silver Clef Award in 1990. In 2006, Hard Rock Heavy Metal magazine Hit Parader named Plant as #1 on its list of the 100 greatest metal vocalists of all time, a list that has included Rob Halford of Judas Priest, Steven Tyler, Freddie Mercury, Geddy Lee, and Paul Stanley, all of whom were influenced by Plant. What a great list. Okay, and damn, this list is long. And they're going down a list of all of the different mediums that had him at the top of their polls. He's ranked high in pretty much every single poll out there where it comes to great vocalists. Yeah, that's a big ass list. I can't read it all, yo. I'll read the very, very last installment. On the 20th of September 2010, National Public Radio, NPR, named Plant as one of the 50 great voices in the world. Think of that. Of all of the people who have lived, who have sang, this dude is ranked in the top 50 in the whole world. Incredible. Great accomplishment. And a lot of you have said to me in the last 3 years that I've covered Led Zeppelin that it isn't just about being a good singer, because there's a lot of great singers out there, and some might even be better than Robert Plant, but it's also about having the right opportunity. And you're absolutely right about that. I have no doubt. I have no doubt that there are other singers out there probably better. I have no doubt that there's others who might be more of a better frontman, more creative, better song, or whatever the case is. But yeah, you're right, man. Opportunity is just as important, if not more. And again, this is talking about the collaboration and the coming together of those four forces known as Led Zeppelin, and the events that created them coming together is really a very intriguing story. So far, it's my favorite story in the classic rock genre, in music specifically, the coming together of Led Zeppelin. It's legend to me, man. So this concludes our look at the great Robert Plant, some of his solo stuff. Again, very happy for him that he was able to go off on his own, do his own thing, be his own person, create, arrange, produce, whatever he did to create his success aside from Led Zeppelin. Very good for him, you know. And if it was someone that we had not heard of and he just came onto the scene, possibly he would have enjoyed just as much success, possibly. Because obviously you'll be listening to him and saying, this is a good singer, man. Very expressive. He's a good looking guy. He moves very well. So yeah, he would create definitely measurable success on his own, just as an upstart. But yeah, hey, the Led Zeppelin shadow that follows his ass certainly helped. You know what I'm saying? And you know, you can run from it, but you can't hide from it. And he realizes that now. So it wouldn't surprise or shock the hell out of me if they did get together one last time before they got way too old to do it. So within the next 5 years, between now and the next 5 years, these guys can still get together and they can still probably jam. So it wouldn't shock the hell out of me to see a Led Zeppelin reunion just one last time. You know, just like the Who, the way they did their one last concert, it wouldn't surprise me to see Led Zeppelin do something like that, or get together for a great cause like the O2, something like that. All right, y'all, this concludes our look at the great Robert Plant. Fantastic singer, man. So thank you very much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed this. Evelyn, thank you again. I appreciate it. More where the Led Zeppelin factor is concerned, looking a little bit more at the solo stuff, looking a little bit more at the interviews, and I will, of course, go back and do maybe the odd bootleg. I know that there's one or two, I can't remember who it is, that sent me a Dazed and Confused challenge. Yes, I still got that open challenge out. Whatever you think is just as comparable or even better than the 1973 song Remains the Same, Dazed and Confused, send it my way. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically pretty much all of the songs from that particular concert. That's the measuring stick. I'll take the time to check it out, man. All right, so that is it. What I got coming up. Yeah, Michael, Joe, Alan, Marco, John got reactions that I got to hit up. I'm running a little bit late, of course. I took a week off, so it's going to be playing catch up, coming at you fast and furious. So thanks very much for not pestering me. No one's been pestering me about when is mine? You're taking too long, you know. How dare you take a day off? How dare you even take a weekend off? I get messages like that. Can you believe that shit? I'm not allowed to have a life being a reactor. Crazy. Anyways, thanks for joining me. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Always a great time checking out Led Zeppelin content. And next time you see me will be tomorrow. So have a good one. Peace out.